Lick number 16, building blocks. This is less of a steel guitar lick and more of a way that us guitarists can sound like a steel guitar. So we're looking at inversions of D major triads and looking at different ways that we can bend in and out of them, either using double stops or single notes. Let's bring up a track and check it out. So I'm starting with a root position D major triad here, and I'm going to be bending my root up to a diatonic step higher, so up to the second note of the scale. So I'll end up with, from this to a nice cluster, and you get that third and the second right against each other. Next I'm going to be using the template of this inversion. It's called first inversion, with the third here on the bottom. And I'm going to be bending into this from a diatonic step below. So I'm going to be taking my pinky, covering the fifth and root, and using 3 fingers here to bend that second into the third. I'm going to be using that same template and taking the third and moving it up a diatonic step, in which case this is just a half step between 3 and 4. And then I'm ending on my second inversion, which has the fifth on the bottom there. Okay, now we're going to start to get into some double stop bends and bending or grabbing the whole triad here. So I'm doing the classic A-B pedal bend, where I'm bending the fifth up a whole step and the third up a half step, because I can't bend the G string and E string at the same time. I'm going to kind of cheat and hammer on with the pinky here. So now this lets me do something called a 4 of 1. So I get the sound of a G major triad against a D chord. Now I like that sound. I'm going to see other places that I could do it. I could do it out of this triad here. And again, I have to cheat it a little bit. I could bend the third up to the root of G. But I can't bend that fifth up to the third of G, so I'm going to have to cheat and hammer on here. And that gives me a D going into a G triad. And when I release it, I'm pulling off at the same time. Down to root position, I'm going to be able to do a 5 chord against that D, so I'm going to be playing a fifth, flat 7, and root of an A against a D chord. And I'm going to do that by taking these 2 notes, the root and third of a D chord, and bending them up, leading the bend with the pinky so that the B string goes up a half step and the G string goes up a whole step. And releasing that bend. So I bent it up and I held it there. Played that high A and then released the bend.